Problem being fat, man. Sorry.
It ain't blocking, is it?
No, it looks like it's oh, I didn't even see yours.
Bring it a little lower.
Actually, put this on your side. It might be. Oh, so I ain't trying to hit you in the head. All right. I think we're good, man. You ready?
Is he ready?
Okay. All right. So I don't have a title.
Title.
I don't know if you have a title. So there's not a title for the podcast necessarily or the episode,
Okay.
but we're gonna take imperfect action. All right. So in the spirit of imperfect action, we're just gonna have dialogue. It's my brother Josh Powell online on Instagram is at JOSHPOWEL 21, right? Or close to it. What's your IG, brother? Tell me your IG.
This is starting off. I love it. Hey, man, this is a blessing. We are live on location.
Facts.
You know, I know you're real humble, but you know what I'm saying?
Super humble, brother.
I appreciate you. But yeah, Josh 21 Powell, man, y'all tap in, man, and holler at your boy. We are here.
Josh 21 Powell. I was close.
You were.
I was close. Far off, but close. My Instagram is at CEO Josh Earl. All right. So the reason why I mentioned imperfect action, for those of you who don't know, me and my brother JP, we're at my crib right now, and we are, he's gracious enough to come, and we're just kind of figuring this podcast thing out. I really struggled a lot to get set up, but hopefully we're set up. Hopefully everything records perfectly fine, and we can get this this conversation, which I think is going to be amazing. We typically have really good conversations, like really good conversations. So we definitely wanted to try and record one to see if it can be something that we can use to utilize to help other people as well. So, or bring awareness to two topics. So, so JP, what's up, man?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. It's been a long journey.
When you say long journey, what do you mean?
I'm just looking at the past, you know, for me, like couple weeks, you know what I mean, the things that have transpired. And I know that we've been having the chance to like really, really, really connect, and you've been helping to keep me, you know, spiritually grounded, stay in the course. So
thanks to God.
Yes.
We help each other for sure.
Absolutely. So, you know, just the different challenges, whether it could be spiritual, whether it could be mental, whether it could be relational, you know, just life, man. Life is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But always reminded, brother, because you let me know, and I try to do my best to remind myself, you know, that I am blessed. You know, we all are blessed. 100%. You know, we get the opportunity to you know, do it all over again. So I'm waking up every day. That means the Creator isn't done with me yet. And that's my whole that's my
Facts.
story, and I'm sticking to it.
Facts. There's definitely room for improvement for us all. You know, I think for me, my past couple of weeks been pretty trying.
Yeah.
You know, in full transparency, even, you know, right now with my business, for example, there was a shift in my business that was very unexpected. And, you know, there's a partnership I had that I lost, right? And so in losing that partnership, I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose about $200,000 this year. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but I see a upside to it. But right now it's kind of starting off rocky, you know what I'm saying? And so as a person who's in business, who talks a lot about business, to take that kind of a hit, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, that day when it happened, I was like, sheesh. Like for real, I almost couldn't even really think straight. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a significant amount of money. So, but you know, I have an upside and I have a plan. We should always have a contingency plan. And I have one, but you know, in the process of me executing it, it's starting out kind of wobbly.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to really navigate through that, because it's a little bit of a different pace right now, and just trying to keep my people busy, and just really mentally dealing with that, because that can be a little bit of a lot sometimes.
Has something like this ever happened to you before in business, to this magnitude?
Never to this magnitude. Never to this magnitude. You know, things happen like this often, but never to this magnitude. Not like this.
So what are some of the adjustments that you're making?
So I really believe in relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so I have really good relationships with other people that's still in that same industry who I know need my services.
Right.
So what I'm doing is I'm really trying to partner with them and leverage those relationships. You know what I'm saying? So even the relationship that I lost, it wasn't because it was a bad relationship. It's because that company isn't really doing well financially. So because they're not doing well financially, they had to look at obvious places to make cuts at. And, you know, for them, and I don't disagree if I'm being real, but for them, that relationship, though it was profitable, it was not as necessary as some of the other ones that they have. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but I have a relationship with some of the people still in that company. So that's why I know I'll still be able to get the work, but maybe not to the level of what I was getting it before. So just really trying to navigate through that and just really execute the plan that I have, but it's just not going the way that I anticipated.
Here's the other thing I guess I want to ask you too is we talk about navigating, and balance is a big part of that.
Right.
So you have a family.
Right.
And even though, the rule states we're technically supposed to keep things separate.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to do that. So with this tremendous change, mm-hmm. how has that affected how you move in the house? Mm. And then do you get the support that you need to have what you need, whether it be the confidence, not saying that you're not confident, but like having the belief or the faith or that support to keep pushing despite whatever else is going on? No, it's a twofold question.
Yeah, it is, but I think that's a great question. And, even you're right. I do have a lot of confidence, but I wanted to mention that because when navigating through new situations, sometimes you lack confidence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm probably too confident in myself, to be honest, but initially I lost confidence. But then I had to gather my confidence because I had to have a conversation with my wife. So, but because of the level of confidence that she has in me, that helped instill the confidence that I have in myself as well. So it helped bring me back up. But, to answer your question, man, I think it's really a blessing overall because the day it happened, my oldest son, he didn't really know, but he came home and he told my wife, he said, Mom, he was like, man, Dad was in a good mood today. No, actually, this was the second day. He was like, man, Dad was in a really good mood. He was like joking, and he was hugging, he was hugging everybody and playing and laughing. So there was something that shifted in me, that changed. And I think that what it was is I was able to look at the blessing in it, which is that it allows me to be able to be more present. You know what I'm saying? And so, because you and I taught, and one of the biggest things that I was dealing with the other company that I was working with was driving a lot. I was always driving. So it would be hard to really be stationary. Like even us doing this, it would be hard because though I may plan it, something may happen and I may have to go run and solve a problem. So, so I really think it's overall a blessing, and it's allowed me to move differently at home because it has allowed me to be more present. It's allowed me to be a lot more intentional and really be able to really connect with my family. So, so I think in that regard, man, ultimately it's good. And I try to always look at the good in everything, but though it's not initially the first thought, I believe that if you kind of prime yourself and go through that training of knowing something at some point is going to happen and really mentally and spiritually grounding yourself when it does happen, you can really see the positive and be able to navigate through it. So I think ultimately, man, it worked out. I don't know if I answered. What was the other question?
No, that was the two-part because you answered the first one out the gate. But I got another two-part for you because you speak about, being present. So how important is presence and intentionality in regards to relationships or business?
It's extremely important. I realize that if you're not intentional, then you won't be present, in any relationship. And if I'm not present, then it's not really possible for me to really be as much of an asset to that person and them even be an asset to me. And not even financially. I just mean like, me having you in my life it's a huge asset because I learn a lot from you, not even from what you say, but really how I see you in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? And so if I wasn't, even though I may see you handle a situation and while you're handling it, I could be off handling something else that I have to be doing. But I feel like me being present in that situation in case I'm needed in that situation, it allows me to really see how cool, calm, and collected you are. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So me seeing that brings value to me through me watching how you address a situation. But I think really in any relationship, especially business, you have to be intentional because if you have a partner or if you are dealing with customers, then somebody's relying on you, somebody's depending on you.
Right.
You know, so I have to really be intentional on the execution, because just for me, how I operate is, if, let's say I come to you with some kind of deal, and because I brought you the deal, if it's more of, let's say you're an investor in it, right? I'm gonna make sure that you don't lose money as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a loss that has to be taken, then I'm gonna look at it as though it's my loss. You know, and unless there's a great loss, obviously I can't take too big of a loss, but you know, I really want to do everything in my power to eliminate the possibility of you taking a loss. So, me being intentional with going into that business deal, I'm going to look at the numbers as much as I can and just make sure that it's something that you won't take a loss on. And, you know, it's really because I value the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I think being able to really see people as people and not profit is something that allows me to be able to be intentional, or even if it's not something that benefits me, it allows me to really try and emotionally, mentally, spiritually be there for somebody else. So if we add value to each other in that way.
Got a great one for you. I was just thinking as you was speaking about that, you being a really successful, first of all, a successful man, a husband, a father. We'll get back to that. But from a business standpoint, right? The CEO, and this is for all the entrepreneurs out there, business folks, is all money good money?
Absolutely not. That's, yo, I'm so glad you mentioned that, bro, because that, you know, I actually heard an influencer say online the other day, they were saying how if you're committed to something, then you're going to reach that goal no matter what. That didn't really sit right with me, because like I think of it in the same way of kind of how you asked the question, because if I have a goal to be a millionaire, for example, if I'm really committed to that goal, then based off the definition that person gave, I should let nothing stop me from achieving it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's times where you're put in situations where your integrity really looks you in the face and say, are you going to do this thing or are you not going to do this thing? You know what I'm saying? And it can, and there's people out there that can be like, nah, my integrity is my integrity. I'm always going to make right decision. And it's easy to say that when you're not in a position to really profit off of something
or someone
on a large scale, you know, and it not even really be noticeable that you did something dirty. Like, that's really when your integrity comes into play. So because I genuinely believe all money ain't good money, I'm really guided by my spiritual principles, because I know ultimately, let's say I do you dirty. You may not even know it, but I know God knows it. For a fact, God knows it. So, yeah, bro, all money definitely ain't good money. I mean, what do you think about that? Is all money good money to you?
Well, I'm sitting here laughing because I'm thinking about a lot of people that move without integrity.
Yeah.
That we know.
Yeah.
And that we don't know.
Factual. 100% factual.
But I feel that integrity is you should probably make that an episode.
I agree.
Because I feel like certain topics nobody's willing to expound upon, right? We do things, we get on these mics, we're looking for the oohs, the ahs, the bars, instead of really speaking from the heart and allowing, you know, truth to become power. You know what I mean? And I do agree with you. I know for me, you know, being a athlete, you know, I've been in situations where
I'm sorry, JP. Yo, I was just, as he was talking, I was just thinking, he's not just an athlete. Like, when you say athlete, they're super humble. Don't forget your train of thought, because I really want you to share it. But I'm sorry, because I didn't give you the level of respect at the beginning of this thing, because I was still, you know, discombobulated.
You want me to tell you why you did?
Why?
Because one of the other reasons why I love this, right, and what we're doing, because the focus is on, like, even though we were talking about business and all of that, the focus is on the man first.
Facts. Yep.
Right? And I know for me, like, a lot of my relationships, a lot of things are contingent or based upon the fact of what I've done, where I've been,
right.
you know, and or even the relationships that I have, you know, and it was funny because it takes me back to the story when we first met in Zion and you had thoughts about me, right? And we were actually able to, well, for one, you know, you were able to see for yourself, but then as we built the bond that we have now, which is still growing,
yeah.
we both, and I feel like men can do that everywhere.
Absolutely.
Where we can peel those layers off and remove whether it's pride, ego, you know, judgment or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that all of that's typically a bad thing. It's not a negative that I'm trying to put on that. But really learning and understanding people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And taking the time. You talked about being present. You talked about being intentional. One of the places and spaces that where we started, you know, was from a place of service, you know, and the fact that, you know, we're coming from that place in our belief system, right? The rules, the teachings, all of those things. So it's like having to really look at people, situations or circumstances as they are. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real easy to, based on your childhood, your traumas, whatever your perspectives are, to look at a person, a situation, or a circumstance in that type of manner,
right?
Because you can't shake that, right? And that's why I'm grateful for my journey, and I'm gonna let you, you know, get back to it. But being an athlete, being outside of my home, living outside of this country, living in other states, really having a chance to dive in and have meaningful conversations, sitting at the dinner table with different families, you know, being considered a brother, being considered an uncle to, you know, a Korean little boy or little girl, or being in an Australian household, or, you know, being in Puerto Rico, or being like, I've played in so many different places, and to still have the relationships and bonds has changed my whole scope and perspective on people, on life, on relationships, on business. So I think that these moments are so beautiful and important because typically that's how we start something, right? But we need to get back to our root and really get to who the person or their values and their principles and their morals. Like that's why, like, you know, this friendship and just the bond, man, has been beautiful for me because it started one way and took a shift, and then it's just like elevated, you know what I mean? Because of that. And that's how we learn, but that's also part of the message. Yeah. Because when we go serve and we're in these schools and we're doing what we're doing, like we're able to tell people from that lens. If we didn't, you know, been there, done that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes the message so much more stronger and genuine. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And you were going somewhere with your story, but I just real quick, if you can just say like, you're not just an athlete.
I'm getting into my Atlanta voice too when you pass it back.
Get to your Atlanta voice. All you need. My man is not just an athlete. Like he's not just somebody that played basketball. Like, you know, he and I'm gonna say this too, but like knowing you, I'm not surprised that you went to the highest level that there is because you're such a consistent and intentional person, right? And so when you say you're gonna do something, that's what you do. I didn't know that about you when we first met. So
make sure when you crop this clip, because I want my kids to see that part. All right,
no, absolutely. That's a fact. I thought he was like most people who, you know, we had. There was an idea I had. He shared the same idea, and when I found out, like he and I had the same idea. When we both found out, we were like, "Yo, let's do it together." I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Whole time in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, brother ain't gonna do nothing, bro." It's gonna die. It's gonna die as an idea. And honestly, it started to die as an idea because of me, but because of his consistency, that's the only reason that we actually saw it come to life. You know what I'm saying? So I salute you for that because that showed me initially your consistency. Us reading in the morning. Sometimes I don't call. You'll pop in my head. I'm like, yo, I know I need to call JP, and I get a phone call, but it's because I'm running around doing so many other things. But that's the consistency. So. For you to you're not just an athlete, you're not just, and please don't be humble when you say it, bro. Please don't be humble when you say it. I want you to think about all the sacrifice it took for you to get to the highest level of where you've reached in your craft, and really tell the people, man. I don't want you to forget your initial thought because you had one, but I thought this was so important. Just share with the people some of the achievements you've had in what you've done in playing basketball, quote unquote, athlete.
Okay. So first I want to start with I got a free education.
Okay, that's important.
It's very important. So I was able to go to a college of my choice. I went to North Carolina State University. Even though I only stayed 2 years, but I did get a free education, because I got a full ride.
Right.
And then I went to pursue my craft, my dream, which I made it a reality by being a professional basketball player. Now, a lot of people when they, you hear a lot of stories from other people, right? And they're like, I always knew I could play in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I said it's cute.
Because for me, and I feel like realistically, like I look at myself as being somebody that's a real hooper.
Yeah.
I love the game, and the respect and the hard work and the dedication that I put into my craft. I really had to allow the creator to put me in whatever position he wanted me to be in.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I didn't know that I didn't belong. That's the difference.
That's strong.
I knew where I belonged, but sometimes the creator has a different vision for you.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. The thing that I talk about the most is I've exceeded all expectations because I did something that I loved for 20 years. Not a lot of people can say that.
That's facts.
And I did it at a high level. Now, to me, my version of high level means I took care of my family. I took care of myself. I gave my family and people around me life experiences that they'll never forget.
Yeah.
I don't care how much they want to bash me now. If I don't talk to some of these people no more, I know the significance and the importance that I've had in your life.
Absolutely.
Which is probably the reason why I get some of the hate that I get.
That's a fact.
Cool.
Especially if you're not doing it no more.
Cool. I've learned how to become a better man, a better partner, a better father, teammate, friend, family member, because of my experiences.
Yeah.
Basketball has taught me a lot about life. And I don't know if I would have been able to have those experiences if I didn't play the sport that I played. That was my journey and my path. That's how I would like to start with that.
I definitely want to let you finish with it.
Before we get it, because to me, I personally feel like me talking about the league championships or me talking about overseas and then winning championships or doing whatever, I feel like that's surface level.
It's definitely, no, it's surface level, but I think people would, and I hate to say it this way, but people with sense know that although those things are surface level, there's something under that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, build up to it, but I'm not going to let you breeze past it.
That's where I'm going with it because typically to most people, they are who that person is to the outside. I don't want to be viewed as a basketball player. Right, I want y'all to know the man first. Yeah. That's where I'm coming from.
Gotcha.
And that's always been my thing. So it's like, yes, that's a part of my life, but that's not who I am.
Right.
I'm the guy that has fallen 20 million times and I've gotten back up. I'm the guy who has failed over and over again in order to achieve success. I'm the guy that understands the power of forgiveness, grace, mercy. I understand what unconditional love looks like. I understand what trying or structure or discipline. I understand what being a hardhead looks like.
Yeah.
I understand what putting myself in situations that I didn't necessarily have to be in and how that helped me grow even more so. I wouldn't be able to be where I am. I wouldn't even be able to be in your place, you know, your place of love where your family dwell. Like I wouldn't be able to be here if you didn't feel there was something there, some type of genuine, you know what I'm saying? So that's the place that I'm coming from, because I know a lot of people with money who are lame.
That's a fact.
I know a lot of people with status that ain't built like that. I know a lot of people that come from whatever they come from, and there's no shade to those people, but it is what it is. I'm not here to, you know, base things off of emotions or anything like that. I'm going based on facts. I'm going based on experiences. I'm going based on what my perspective is by being in rooms that most people can't be in, by being a part of conversations, just listening. Yeah. That a lot of people aren't able to have those conversations. So I have a different understanding. A lot of people that other people feel are real people, I just know too much. You know what I mean? And the game has taught me so many different things. And that's why I just try to really focus on being the best version of myself.
That makes sense.
That means accepting my flaws, accepting, you know, the things that I have done right or done wrong, the people that I continuously hurt every day. I hurt people every day, bro. Yeah. I think as men, that's something that we don't necessarily look at it like that. But it's just what comes with the territory. I'm probably sure you could say that. As being a husband, being a father, you gonna piss somebody off. Absolutely. At least once a day. Yeah. One person.
Some of it's necessary.
Whether it's in your house or outside your house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, thank you for giving me that platform. But I played 9 years in the league, the rest overseas. I got a year of coaching. I won 2 NBA championships with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Hold on, bro. You gotta let it breathe, bro. You can't do that, JP. He's trying to breathe. Look, he's trying to breeze by it. But
I really am. I'm past the mic back.
Nah, he's trying to breeze by it. All right, you said you did. All right, you said you had some coaching, and what else you said? You said something about championships. What was it?
The 2 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers.
So you won 2 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
That's crazy, bro. So I'm not you. You probably weren't done. I want you to finish what you were.
Oh, a EuroLeague championship. So shout out to Olympiacos. It's my team I played with in Greece.
What was the team name again?
Olympiacos. They're in Greece. Yep. Athens. So real dope because, you know, at the time the family had came over there. You know, my kids will still talk about that to this day because they lived in Greece. Man, they went to school in Greece.
They went to school there?
Yeah, man.
Yo, that's crazy, bro.
So yeah, it's just like I said, man. There's so many different experiences. Like, my kids have stamps on their passports from being in China, Australia, Greece. Like, we done been anywhere, man. London. You know, salute to my oldest son. He's been on every pick photo. If you look up a Lakers documentary that was based on those last 2 championships with Kobe, you know, and that crew, that amazing crew that we had, you know, my son was on stage with me. I was able to hold him on stage. You know, my kids have been held by people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, Shaq, just a lot of people, man. For me, you know, a lot of people might be like, man, but for me, it's like, that's homage. Like,
absolutely.
To just be in the presence of greatness. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a chance to play with the Rockets. I had a chance to coach with the Rockets. Who was a part of Houston? My idol, the person that I tried to model my game after, and who I looked up to was the first NBA game I laid eyes on, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Really?
The Dream, who's my GOAT, man. He was like, I had a chance to play one-on-one with him. I had a chance to.
Hold on, who won?
We were tied up before we stopped.
Nah, man, somebody had to win.
We were tied up.
So y'all was tied.
So we started playing one-on-one, and then they had other bigs come and be a part of the one-on-one session. Gotcha. So we didn't get to like finish. It was like one-on-one on one-on-one. Like, we just kept.
Dope, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so for me, these are the memories and the things that I have and the places that I've been able to get to that outweighs any check or anything else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just beautiful moments. But thank you for giving me my 60 seconds to, you know.
Nah, bro, that was really amazing. And like I said, I don't want to breeze past that because, you know, I know that, like, because I know you personally, right? You're my man. So it's like, I know that there's so much more to you than basketball. I know that for a fact. Um, but the reason why I don't want to breeze past that is because I also know that a lot went into you actually doing what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, when I was in high school, bro, it was hard for me to just show up to practice in high school. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I was chasing girls. So there had to be a level of discipline for you to even show up for practice.
We both were, bro. I
I
know we're gonna have a dark episode one of these.
we gotta have a dark episode.
Whenever it comes, brother.
We got to, bro.
Because I think people get misconstrued, like when they see, like even now, like remember when we was in some of the schools, and people look at where you are now.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
They got no clue, bro.
The years, the things that you've gone through, the trouble that you've gotten in, the bad decisions, all of that. And I am the first to put my hand up, man. I am probably the king of that, sinning the whole show. I am not perfect, but one thing you will get out of me is my effort, and I'll make sure that I try my hardest every opportunity, every new minute and new second and new hour that I get. Yeah. I make it a goal of mine, and I'm very intentional, as you said, just about growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And doing that work, working on myself, self-mastery, all of those things.
Yeah.
Like just being a big fan of that, bro.
Yeah, I think that's really dope, man. And but that's really, for me, the reason why I don't want to breeze past it, because there's a certain level of commitment and persistence and resilience and just grit, like all those things you need to be successful in life, period. You have to have like competitiveness. You have to have those things in order to really get to a high level of success. So that's the reason why I didn't want to breeze past it. So I think, like, with everything that you've experienced in life, what is probably one of the most valuable lessons that you've learned just throughout the process of your existence, whether it's professionally, personally, your high, your low? What is the greatest thing that you can say that you've learned, the greatest lesson that you say you've learned?
It's really a hard one because you feel like there's so many. But the first thing that really came into my mind that I want to speak out on this microphone is to not block your blessings by comparing yourself.
Yeah, that's big, bro.
I feel like
that's big.
And here's where I'm going with it, man. I'll start with me being an athlete. And I know the work that I put in, you get frustrated by seeing other guys sign contracts, get playing time, get a different experience with their teams, or even if it's a team that I'm on at that moment. And it could really put you in a foggy place. You know what I mean? And you're not being, as you mentioned, present or intentional. Right. You're not doing it. So you can still come and work hard, but it's not the same. That energy and what you're putting into what you're doing is not the same. So you comparing yourself, and I learned early, and it didn't take me long, bro. Like I learned within my first year that this is a no-no. Because I was kind of doing it as a kid already.
Oh, you mean as far as like comparisons?
Absolutely.
Gotcha, okay.
Because I started, that was my first challenge like in college, because everybody that, again, you come out, I was one of the best players in Georgia, one of the best players in the country. And then I'm the man on my team, and then I go to this college, and we had a strong freshman class. Yeah. Like there was other good sophomores, juniors, and seniors. God rest my brother Anthony Grundy. Like it was just, you got to fit in, get in where you fit in. So that would be probably one of the easier examples. But then when you get into relationships, you start comparing. When you start having kids, you start comparing. And even within certain family structures or dynamics, you start comparing, because I'm like, man, like it's so much trauma that I experienced still. And you're just like, man, like why? Like what did I do in my life to have to endure some of these things? Yeah. And it's tough. I have people, it's funny because I just put that on Instagram this morning. Like And I had to be mindful of what I was gonna put in the caption. But I finally got it to a point where I said, you know what? Let me just put as much as I fail or fall down, these are some of the reasons why I continue to keep fighting.
So how'd you list it? Was it like, because I hadn't been on IG yet, but
So basically I put a bunch of pictures up with me and my kids. I did a reel, like a 15 seconds, just picture after picture. And just wanting to shed that light, you know what I mean? And I just had a moment because what I hear constantly is I'm a deadbeat, or I'm this, or I'm that. Like there's always a complaint of what I'm not doing.
Right.
And I don't have nothing to prove to the world at all. But there's going to be a father. There's going to be somebody out there. It might be a mother too. I don't know. Who's a parent, and you might feel like you're not doing enough. The day that I woke up and I said, I'm not finna guilt trip myself, because for one, you know, the creator knows best, but I can't lie to me.
Right.
Right. So if I know for a fact that I'm giving and doing the best that I can across the board, I have to be fine and I have to live with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's all you can do.
That's it. So I stopped comparing. I stopped looking and searching, and I started to really enjoy. Like that's why I think I shared this with you maybe a month or so ago, but I was just like, man, I'm really living through you. I think, you know what? I think it was the conversation we had at Riverdale because you brought your son.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, bro, I'm really living through you, because what is that like? You know what I'm saying? Like you have this dynamic with your son, and I know the dynamic that is starting to get better with me and mine, my oldest, for example. But just from the standpoint, like you're in the house with him.
Yeah.
You've been in the house with him his whole life. My son will not be able to experience that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning from you because it's helping me. I've had to deal with older girls at the time with my ex-wife. Like, you know, we adopted her cousins, so understanding, you know, now my daughters are like getting to that point.
Right, yeah.
But I've never had, you know, your son is 16, 17 years old. Like mine just turned 13.
Yeah,
like, even though he's a big kid, but
he's huge, bro.
but still, like there's that, like that next level of, you know, like, oh, you really think it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just stuff that you got to deal with. So I say all that to say, like these are some of my aha moments, some of the things that have helped me grow, and hoping that these will be some things that can help somebody else grow. Yeah. So I was just trying to bring it all back, because for me, when I use social media, my platform, when I'm going to places, when I'm in homes, when I'm in gyms, or, you know, doing conferences or whatever, if I get the platform to speak, these are the things that I'm constantly thinking about. Yeah. Just constantly being an example. And the example doesn't have to be perfect.
I think sometimes the best example is not a perfect one.
It got to be transparent, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's the other part to this, is we use these pieces and these platforms to try to create this lifestyle, man. And it makes people feel like they got to chase that. And we forget about the fact that some of these people, man, used to sleep on their mama's couch. Yeah. They ain't have nothing. That's maybe it was they girl who helped them lift up and level up. Maybe it was the guy who helped his old lady lift up, level, or maybe they just did it together.
Right.
They both came from nothing, but they loved each other so much that they were like, man, we finna build an empire. Beautiful. Empire also in the standpoint of relationship, parenting, all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So getting back to that point where it's okay to know that you didn't do it right this time. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I spazzed out on my kids. I shouldn't have did that.
Been able to acknowledge
this is how we grow, though. You acknowledge it, but then the next level is, because a lot of parents, I feel like a lot of parents, mothers and fathers, they know what they be doing.
Absolutely.
But they won't admit. Yeah. There's no accountability. Yeah. So the next place that we need to go is to hold ourselves accountable and go to your kids if you were wrong, right? And wrong doesn't necessarily mean your message. It could have been just how it was delivered. Right, yeah. That could have been damaging, because sometimes you got to put your foot down. Yeah. Sometimes you might have to be a little stern or a little crazy. And that's cool.
It's necessary sometimes.
Because this world that we live in now, everything has to be, oh, you got to talk to your kid. No, bro, we not doing that. I'm raising young men and women because you know why? I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. My kid gets with a teacher or a coach who's out of pocket and they don't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
I don't think we think of some of these things like that. That's so true, bro. Right? Those are factors I can't control. Yeah. Our kids right now, your kids are going for 8 hours a day. You might spend 3 hours with them.
Yeah. Yep.
Somebody else is in the driver's seat. And we don't even view it like that. Fact. We don't view it like that. So it's like, I'm trying to prepare them for the real world. What if they get a boss that's a real butthole? Yeah. What you gonna do? You think, when they were younger, we just changed schools because we didn't like it. What you gonna do that with jobs too?
Can't. Got to deal with it at some point.
So, hate to be long-winded, brother.
No, that was good, bro. That was really good. That was really good. I think, I don't think you were long-winded. I think that just needed more of an explanation to that answer, you know. And so, yeah, you weren't long-winded at all. When it comes to you, because you spoke earlier too about you, and not just earlier. I heard you mention it before, but when it comes to like Josh Powell, the man, what do you think one of the biggest misconceptions that exist about you as a person? And why do you think that's a misconception?
Depends on who you ask.
It's a great point.
Depends on the color of their skin too.
What do you mean? That's interesting. I'm surprised to hear that one, honestly.
Because when you talk about people, you know, how do my white brothers and sisters view me? Yeah. Versus how do my black brothers and sisters view me? It's a community thing. Like I think about all of those different aspects, you know, in regards to your question. And it's funny because I've been the most judged and put down and whatever else you can think on in my community.
Yeah. But why do you think that is though?
And then I get love, you know, from those who don't look like me.
Do you think it's like kind of like a Willie Lynch syndrome thing, or like why do you think because I get it. I understand it. I really understand that. But like why do you think that is though?
Man, you got enough battery on these things?
Oh, it's plugged in.
I think for one, man, as people, we are very insecure. And we always want to look to point the finger, blame somebody else, or be the victim. And a lot of the things that we do. And if you are a person that has achieved success, and don't get me wrong, some things come with the territory, you know, and I don't think that's based off of success. I think that, you know, you're just going to be judged regardless of what you do and how you do it. And that's fair. But I think that we can be overly critical and want to critique everything about certain individuals, right? The biggest thing for me right now is when we're looking at this camera screen and I'm full of ink, right? I've gone in places and communities where I could be judged based off of my appearance without saying one word.
That's a fact.
Right? I'm super even keeled. You know, I feel like you know this now.
Oh, absolutely.
But maybe at the beginning, why that brother so serious? Like, what he got going on? You know, he look like he don't want to talk, like he don't want to be bothered.
You do seem like that, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you do seem like that.
But it's not necessarily that. If you get a chance to know me, then you'll understand I'm very observant. Yeah. When I walk into a room, I'm watching. Even if I'm not looking at you, I've noticed everything about you. I've noticed what's going on over here. My peripheral is this way. Like, I'm really trying to peep game and figure out what's going on, for one, right? For two, I'm trying to make sure that I help other people be comfortable. Because I know
that's a problem though?
I know that that's a part of my presence. What's the problem? trying to make other people feel comfortable?
Well, yeah, in some regards, because
can be.
Yeah, like, and the reason why I asked it is because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes that can be first of all, I think that because I'm observant too, but maybe you see it differently from me. But here's how I analyze that. I analyze that as being like a trauma response.
Okay. And that's fair.
You know what I mean? Because of how I grew up, things that I've done, things that I've seen. So it's like me being overly, my kids will tell you, like me being overly observant, I feel like is like a trauma response. And I almost feel like sometimes me really being more concerned about another person feeling comfortable, I could put myself in an uncomfortable position because I want them to be comfortable.
And that's fair.
Which is also, I kind of see that sometimes as being more of not really a people pleaser, but that it may be something that's negative. Like, how do you see that though?
I've taken my negative and turned it into a positive because a part of my being is a person that comes from a place of service.
Yeah.
And in order for me to know how to serve the person, I have to be able to understand them.
Yeah.
So that's where the education or observance, those words come together.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah, I like
so that's why for me, I would like to observe. I would like to understand how you can talk to a person, what could be something that's triggering, what could be something that could be uplifting. And at the end of the day, from an uplifting standpoint or a motivational and inspiring standpoint, who doesn't like love?
Yeah.
That's always a good icebreaker. Peace King, how you doing?
Yeah.
Peace Queen, how you doing? Hey man, I'm proud of you. I love you. I don't even got to know you to tell you that.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, what? Excuse me? What did you just say? Yeah. I don't want nothing from you. I just want to tell you I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you salute. Keep doing what you're doing. It might not be to the level of what you want, but at least you're trying and you're going after it.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that I get when I can walk into a room and I can really understand a person. Also listening. That's a good way to get somebody to let their guard down by making it more about them than you do about yourself.
Yeah.
If you really notice people and you pay attention, a lot of people, man, are so self-absorbed. They only focus on self.
Yeah.
That it turns the other people or person off.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want to walk into a room and let you know, I know who I am, but I don't want you to trip and feel like because of who I am, that diminishes or devalues your worth. There's a method to the madness.
That makes sense, bro. And I didn't think about it that way. You
open that Bible, who's the main character who does that?
God does that.
Come on. And I'm not that. I'm not. But I'm just taking a page.
But you're God's son.
I'm just taking a page.
You're God's son.
And I appreciate that.
The father and the mother does, the child does. So, no, that makes perfect sense.
But it's being a servant and just really flipping that narrative because I know it could come across that way. And to your point, there are facts to that.
Yeah.
There are facts. Those are trauma responses and certain things, and they could be. But these are the things that I've learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the work, that I know that I've done, a lot of the work we've been doing together as of late is around people that look like us.
Yeah, that's true.
And they feel away, bro. Yeah. Like you got to also take into account their traumas, whatever their experiences are, has a lot to do with all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I talk about the different lens. That's why I ask what color, because it's funny, right? And then is it somebody who has nothing? Is it somebody that has money? It's just all of these things.
Yeah.
And the other funny part about that is the spaces that I've been in, it's funny that the people that have access, resources, money, whatever you want, status, those are some of the most insecure.
Why though?
For one, it's competitional.
Yeah.
I talked to you earlier about I'm not comparing myself to nothing. I've seen it, bro, walking into a room and it could be somebody who's a multimillionaire or billionaire that has less power.
Yeah.
They don't even view them, you know what I'm saying? Because for one, everything about them is based on what they have.
Yep.
Or who they are.
And that's the problem.
It's a huge problem.
That's the problem.
So that's why I broke that down to ask color, status, like all of these things matter because it could be problematic on either end, right? And the way people can judge you and all of these things. But then I look at who's been the most at doing that. And then to take it a step further, internally, bro, my family.
Yeah.
a lot of our issues as people, it's not a black or a white thing. A lot of our issues as people come from our families.
It's
and our
passed down.
families, it could be a really good experience. It could be a cool experience. Or it could be a really traumatic experience. And then for me in my life, I love everybody in my family. I've had a fair share of traumatic experiences, but I'm also super grateful. I know that might sound crazy.
No, it doesn't sound crazy.
But I wouldn't be able to, again, be who I am if I didn't experience those things. Because now it can help me be better in my relationships across the board. It can help me be a better father. It can help me be a better friend or a teammate. It just helps me because I have more experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm speaking from my cup is not just this small, once you go to Starbucks and get a tall.
Yeah, I guess it's
and then the bigger one is the venti.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the cup is just so much deeper, bro. And like it just helps me, man, and it always keeps me humble.
Yeah.
But it keeps me hungry. And it just helps me to learn how I could be better, how I can serve, how I can do all of these different things. I don't think it's a problem to want to put somebody else first. I don't think it's a problem to want to observe a room. I don't think it's a problem to want to learn about other people or figure out a way to make them comfortable.
Right.
Because you can make somebody comfortable without going out your way either.
Right, yeah.
And I think a lot of times we feel like, man, if I'm going to make somebody feel comfortable, I got to do all of these things. And no, you don't. I can make somebody feel comfortable by opening the door.
No,
I could tell a person, thank you.
Yeah.
Small little things that we should probably be doing as human beings anyway, every day. So I hope I answered.
No, yeah, I think that was really good, man. And the reason why I like the way that you look at it because it's a different perspective. So for me, I'm all about personal development. I'm all about growth.
Amen.
And so because of that, I'm constantly like analyzing myself.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, but I mean, like, I'm always looking at what I did or how I could have done it better, or, what wins did I have and how I did what I did. And one of the things that I've identified in myself is I've consistently, in a lot of different situations, I told you the other day, I said it in a different way, but I've put myself down or pushed myself back a lot to push somebody else up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's necessary.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like even that is a trauma response, because I've had friends and I've had family say, "Oh, he think he's better than me," or "He think he's better than other people." I don't think I'm better than nobody. But I feel like my response to that has been to, you give me a compliment, instead of me receiving it, I deflect it and then I give it back to you. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't have to do that. I can just receive the compliment. And I can also give you a genuine compliment in exchange. So, that's the reason why I think how you explain it is good, because it allowed me to see it from a different perspective. Because when I go into a room, I'm super observant, but I'm looking for all the potential threats. I'm looking for the exits. I'm looking for where the exit is at. I'm looking for all these different things that are going to allow me to be able to survive if something were to happen in this place. That, I think, is different from how you see it, because you had it be into more of a positive.
But you still got, and I don't want to take that, I don't want to interrupt you even though I'm doing it.
No, you're good.
That's so crazy. But
no, you don't want to do it, but you feel it's necessary. Yeah.
But to your point, though, that is still necessary.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why? Because every day we see that there are hurt human beings out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't think that I don't, for a second, when I go watch a movie by myself, with my significant other, with my friend, whatever, I'll go in there and I'll immediately be like, let me sit in a certain spot.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
All the way in the back, so I could really, see what's going on. I don't want to be blindsided. Like, I have those initial thoughts, because I also feel like, too, the day you put your guard down, typically, it's like, man, I should have been thinking a certain way. I'm not even saying something got to happen. Maybe it's just some energy in the building or in the room that you like, man, if I would have. And I don't ever want to be in that position, because I don't feel like I'm going out of my way and putting all this crazy energy in the world. I just feel like just being aware, right? To your point, and I want to salute that too, is even though it's something that you're working on, but you have awareness. A lot of people don't even have an awareness.
No, that's true.
Which is step one.
Yeah.
So at least you can say, look, I know where I need to work
Yeah.
and how I need to get better and whatever. Millions and millions and millions of people are ruining their households, businesses, and friendships and everything else because they're not even aware.
Yeah.
So
true.
salute to you for that.
Appreciate it.
But back to your other point, because you're gonna give these people, it might not be on this particular episode, but you're gonna give these people that work. Because you gotta talk about
they gotta get that work.
And I don't know, since I've been following you, I don't even know if you really went there.
I don't think so.
On your page. I don't think people know. They just see CEO. Yeshua. They just see the, you know what I'm saying, the clean brother that come get in the booth, speak his piece, Pico shouting. You know what I mean? Like they just get to see that Joshua, man. But I really feel like if you could take the time to unpack that.
Yeah.
And I can definitely help you unpack that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if you saw when we first started, I was just shooting him. And you was like, you done did a role reversal. Now you bringing him out.
Yeah, you caught that, right?
I so caught that. I was like, he thought he got it. But,
yo, that's hilarious because that's so true.
It's love, man. But I do think, you know, from the standpoint, man, the way that we view things and our perspectives on things, it goes a long way. And if we can try to balance it out by looking at there is good. Yeah. Right? Again, I know it might sound crazy, but, you know, I've spoken about traumas and the bad that's happened in my life. I don't wish trauma or nothing negative on anybody. But again, it has helped me as a man to my core be an overall better person.
I agree.
Because of that. Because of my experiences. You know, so it can help me tell somebody else what to look for, even if it never happens. Yeah. It can help me tell my kids, hey, heads up, this might happen. Even if it never happens. At least you have the wherewithal. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the understanding, because if you do bump into it and see it, you can say, you know what, my old man told me this, or you know what, Josh said this, or you know what, Mr. Powell said this, or Coach said it, whatever title I have at that moment. Cool. Man. I think that's what makes this all beautiful. When you go and tell your story, when you talk to your kids, when you talk to your wife, you're putting things in perspective, bro. Like, there's so much value in that. Yeah. You know, a lot of people aren't aware. They don't have certain tools to do that, and that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. That's a part of your service.
That's facts.
So you got to give them that work.
That's facts. You know, and to your point, like you said something that was it really struck a nerve with me because, you know, I think, so I didn't, my dad's been in my life, but I didn't really grow up with him necessarily because he's been in and out of prison. But I can really remember my dad, like when I think back, my dad didn't give me a lot of advice. You know, he didn't really teach me a whole lot. But I can remember two things that he taught me. And I'll never forget it. One thing that he said to me was, well, one of the things that's been the most valuable, I think, is that everybody, this is how he said, I'm trying to tell you, boy, everybody you think your friend, they ain't your friend. I'm trying to tell you. He told me that, and obviously, to your point, the more you live and get life experiences, you realize, yo, everybody is not my friend. And I think you learn that as you get older, right? So like kids that are in high school.
And don't have your best intentions.
And that's the other part
even if they're not your friend.
That's the other part of it.
So
no, that's the other part of it. And to that point, the second part of it, like JP just said, is they really don't have your best intentions. The situation, so my dad he's been struggling with addiction like my whole life, right? I don't know how much of his life, but I'm almost 40 years old. So my entire life, my dad struggled with that. And he lost several times. He's still fighting. But, you know, I found out the way he became addicted to crack, basically. And the way it happened for him was somebody close to him actually got him to do it. And so, and I just found out recently who that person was. It really like hurt me to find it out, but like they were struggling with it. They introduced him to it. And then I found out later on they introduced my uncle to it. So one of my other uncles, and so my dad used to tell me, if even if you with your, he said, I grew up in the projects, right? So he's like, I know y'all probably smoke weed, y'all do whatever y'all do, right? And he was telling me back then, he would say, if any of your friends, he had just told me that everybody that say they're your friend or not your friend. And he was telling me too, if any of your friends offer you a blunt, don't smoke it if you didn't see them roll it. Don't ever smoke something that you didn't see anybody roll. And he was so adamant about that. And I just didn't understand why. But I understand now why, is because that is one thing that destroyed his life. Because somebody gave him something he really didn't know what it was, and then later found out that's what it was, and he's been chasing that almost 40 years. Somebody he thought was his friend or person that was close to him. So you're right. Everyone don't have your best intentions. And my dad was really good in sports. He was very popular. He was a good-looking guy. You know, he had all the ladies. My mom always tells me about all the girls he had. So he was really, really, like, he was that dude. But when he started to do that, it took him down a bad road. So, you know, that was something that he gave me that I've never forgotten. And I've been in situations where back when I used to smoke, a person was like, yo, you want, I'm goody. I want none of it. Because that one piece of advice my dad gave me stuck in my head, and I will never, and I have never forgotten it.
You know what else I just thought about as you were talking? And I know we talked, you were speaking about drugs, and could be considered like that extreme case.
Yeah.
But people chase happiness the same way.
That's heavy, bro.
And
man, that's strong.
And happiness is out here killing people, relationships, friendships, ruining communities, just the perception of what life is supposed to be about, in such a devastating way. The other thing about me, and the reason why I'm so content and so thankful and just truly humble is because for that temporary feeling of that moment, right? I've spent money on something crazy. I've been able to talk to that one female I might have wanted back in the day. I had the big house, you know, traveled the world, got a you know, pair of Gucci's. You know what I'm saying? No shade to anybody, but I'm saying all that to say, like, but once I did it, you know, because a lot of these things are based on what the fuss is about, right? And then once I did it, it was like, well, now what? Because nothing changed. It didn't make my relationship any better. It didn't help the dynamic in my family or maybe within my kids. It didn't make me, I wasn't appreciated more because of it. And you'll find out fast, man, how life can, and I'm humbled, but what I'm saying is you can really be even more humbled because your perspectives change. But at least I had the awareness going into it, because I was like, man, I'm not completely sold, but I'm chasing this thing. And I want it. You know what I mean? Now I want these things for different reasons prior to when I was at 20 and 25. So it's different. And I don't want to chase happiness. I want to be content. I want to fully be present and intentional, as you mentioned at the beginning of this thing, because I understand that is a true place of power, in my opinion. That's my perspective.
I agree.
That is a true place of power. And it doesn't allow me to get off task or off track whenever the opposite of happiness is the result of a decision or something else. I can be in the moment and I can figure out what I need to do, how it needs to get better, and where I need to be. And I could be the example that I need to be for the people or other parties that are involved to help keep them in the place that they need to be at. right? Because the happiness is devastating. You know what I'm saying? Happiness got in the way of me being a father, right? Again, I'm not perfect. Going through things. You know, I have multiple children. You know, for example, I got one of my kids, my oldest to be exact. She probably feels like I'm the scum of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm living with that. But on the other end, you might have 10 people say, man, you're such a great dad.
Yeah. How do you
Such a
balance
great
that?
dad, but this one right here, man, is really chinking at that armor.
Yeah.
But the growth, I'm not allowing what that experience is to take away from who I am and my efforts that I'm giving.
Yeah.
That's the next level that we have, I believe we have to get to, is because we'll guilt ourselves. Maybe it's because we're letting our wife down, our kids. Maybe it's because we're not doing something at work. But I had to scratch all of that, because if I know that I'm really, really trying and I'm doing the best that I can, I can look myself in the mirror and say, hey, brother, you fought hard today, fight a little harder tomorrow. Yeah. And I could be good with that. But if I know for a fact that I'm half stepping, then that's the thing that can't be lived with. That's what's unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel that be mindful of some of the things that we do chase, because that's a bigger drug. Yeah. We don't even look and think of certain things as that being wrong or dangerous. Yeah. See, we can look at drugs, alcohol. We can look at, for us as men, we can look at women or certain things that can get us off task. Yeah. But we don't necessarily look at, I make $1 million a year. Man, I'm trying to get to making $10 million a year. And
that's a drug.
Listen, bro, one of the craziest drugs, because now whatever work you've been doing to get to that meal, what does that sacrifice look at 10? For those who make 10, what does it look at being 50? For those who make 50, what is it looking at being 100? And then when you look up and you see all these I think Warren Buffett just came out with something. He was like, man, if you're going to tell me I was going to work my whole life to be in this position, I would have rethought this thing. So.
Hold on. Warren Buffett said what?
Yeah, I saved it on my Instagram. Man. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But I swear I just seen a quote on one of the pages that I follow. When he looking back and he's thinking about all of the hard, because you got to work really hard to be a billionaire, bro. Sure. Like even for something that's passed down, in order to still maintain and keep it, like you're coming in swinging, like people are grooming you to be in a position. Yep. And you see how many people, man, like are dying younger. Even if you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire, what is that causing to your family? Yeah. Your true relationships, the people that matter? It's a lot that comes with that.
That's facts, man. That is facts.
And we don't value being in a certain place because we put so much value and emphasis on money and cars and the house and look, the aesthetic, like all of these things.
Man, that's so strong, bro.
Meanwhile, we got a wife at home that ain't pleased with us. We got kids that don't know us. They ain't even say it's about them being happy. They just don't know us. Yeah, they get what they want. But people getting what they want versus what they need. That's why I love Zion so much, man. I'm about to got to get what you need, bro.
Man, bro. I know you probably got to run, JP. Actually, I know you do got to run. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down, man.
I had to do this first one because now it's gonna put pressure on. Because now you're gonna be like, yo, we got to get back in the lab.
Absolutely.
See now that you done got a sip of that liquor, got to get back in the booth. Hey, y'all, check me out too. I got that fresh boy today.
Fresh ball.
Because I sure couldn't be on camera. You know what I'm saying? I got my blossom going on. I wasn't gonna be on camera half stepping. You feel me?
My man got that fresh ball. Yo, I want to say something. Then I'm gonna let you close it out. But it's in response to what you just said. And one of the things that I really want to convey is whether it's money, women, men, happiness, whatever it is, anything you chase is going to run away from you, right? So when you chase things, the by definition, to chase means that something is trying to escape. So one thing that I've learned through personal development is that I try my best not to chase anything and anyone. What I do is I try to become attractive. So I work on myself and become a more attractive person so that I can attract the things and the people in my life that I want. That way I'm not chasing anything. So I think if we look at things in a different perspective, and rather than us chasing things, we become more attractive by working on ourselves through personal development and taking in feedback from those that are around us that we care about and value their opinions, then I believe we can really attract the things that we would like to attract. So that's one of the messages I want to leave with you is don't chase anything, become attractive. Work on yourself and become attractive. JP, how would you like to close it out, my brother?
I think you just did.
Yeah, but we got to get something from you.
I think you just did.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good.
That was definitely, we going, because listen.
But we still got to get something from you. Or give some kind of encouragement or something to somebody who's listening. Because here's the thing too, is that even though there wasn't really, I really enjoyed this. I genuinely enjoyed this. I always enjoy talking to you, but I'm thankful that we actually recorded a conversation. And we definitely got to do it again. You know, there's so much more value that I believe that I know is in these conversations. So we definitely got to keep having it. But what kind of encouragement or what is it that you can give to somebody to help them kind of go through whatever they're going through, or encourage them in any situation?
Hey man, what I want to say is I love you.
That's strong.
And I'm proud of you. And I think that you're an amazing man or an amazing woman. I think that you have all the capabilities to achieve greatness. And you're already great. But just continue to stay the course and continue to do what's necessary to put yourself in a place to win. And winning is not about money. Winning is not about, getting the house that you want or the car that you've always, wished for. Winning is about being a good person, a good human being, someone that has integrity, someone who, their family within these walls, their children respects, someone who's a great representation, of what fighting and showing up and never giving up looks like. We all are going through our trials and tribulations. You're looking at two men who, regardless of what you think, we have our challenges. Right. And that never stops. But the one thing that you can be assured of is, at least from me, well, two, but I ain't gonna speak for my brother here, but at least for us, okay, so now we're in the room, you got at least two people that you know for sure support you, love you, and want to see you win.
Absolutely.
So stop making them excuses of feeling like, man, ain't nobody got my back, ain't nobody. Nope, if you see this, or if you know us, or if you've come across us, if you know somebody that knows us, please know you got two people for sure that ride with you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's more powerful than anything.
Absolutely. So appreciate you, my brother. As always, it's much love. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming all the way over here, man, to chop it up with me before you dip. So thanks again, bro.
Coming back, man. This is my side too, man. We're going to stamp this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was good, bro. That was, man. I really enjoyed that, man. I really did, bro.
Wife done called both phones. I must be in trouble.
Well, you probably is.
You still recording? Let me.
Is it? Oh, I'm sure it's still recording, and my drink died. Yes, did.
We done talked the battery out that thing, huh?
We were recording an hour and 19 minutes.
Oh, bro, we could have easily went.
Oh yeah, that.
Easily went another. I can't wait till you chop this stuff up.
I'm about to start working on that red.
Thing will be crazy. You gotta wait for nobody. Kick the door down. We see what y'all doing. Ain't much, It ain't much.
I need to replace this thing too, bro. That that thing just be, it's so hard to keep up. Man, bro. That's I figured that's what mine was doing. Man, that was good, JP.
It's great stuff, brother. Can I use your restroom real quick?
Yeah.